Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I have a cute birthday card that is all about primary colors, perfect for a child or a big child. This card focuses on creating a hot foiled background using multiple plates and features a brand new die set by Spellbinders Sentiment Labels. I've had a few questions about hot foil stamping, so I'm starting with the basics. I'm going to create a tone-on-tone background using 3 plates from Spellbinders Anytime Glimmer Sentiments. I'm using teal hot foil on a teal cardstock background. Foil that has been developed for the hot foil system must be used. The foils that are applied with the help of a laminator or rubbed onto adhesive will not work with this system. The foil is very flimsy and can be difficult to cut. I like to make my initial cut using a roller blade on a self-healing mat. To minimize overfoiling, I use the plate to help trim excess foil off, and I find it best to use scissors that are serrated. If I was going to be foiling images as standalones, then I would just go ahead and build everything directly on the hot foil platform. But because I'm creating a background, I need to be able to place my foil plates in an exact position. The layering of the materials on my work surface is literally backwards from what I would be doing on the platform. I begin with my cardstock and then I lay down my foil followed by the hot foil plate. Any side of the foil always faces the raised image on the hot foil plate. So it took me a while to wrap my head around this, and I have a number of plates that are foiled, but it doesn't hurt them. Because I'm building my background on my work surface, I need to be able to flip this over onto the platform. I'm using low-tack tape to hold everything in place. In my case, I have a whole bunch of washi tape that I never use, so this is perfect for this job. You can also use purple tape, mint tape, anything that is low-tack. The set that I'm using has 3 sentiments that pertain to birthdays, so I'm going to be foiling all 3 at the same time. And then I will continue building my background. So the first very basic is there's an on-off switch at the back of the machine. The first light, which is red, indicates that the machine is on. So the first light is red, stop, wait for the second light to go green, and go. The foil plates need to be sitting on the platform, so I carefully flip my panel over. The third light is for the timer. I hit the button, it will start flashing, and then I wait until it goes solid. If you are going to use the hot foil system several times in a row, initially it will take a while for it to heat up, but subsequent foilings it will be ready to go quite quickly. There are 3 factors that go together to create a successful foiling result. The foil plates must reach the correct temperature, so it is important to use the timer. Secondly, the paper that you choose to foil on does make a difference. The smoother the paper, the easier it is to get a good result. So when you run your hand across the paper, it should feel smooth, not those little scratchy bits that you can sometimes feel, often on colored cardstock. Not that you can't foil on this paper, you can, but then the third factor comes into play, and that's pressure. All right, my timer button has gone solid green, and now I'm ready to foil. The system comes with a top plate and a shim. I always use these 2 plates. It can take a little bit of work to disengage the platform from the system, and you have to be careful not to shift your paper. Because I'm using colored cardstock, I need to increase the pressure, so I've placed a sheet of copy paper folded in half on top. The platform from the hot foil system replaces that one from the die cutter. I always roll it through forwards and backwards slowly, but when I do so, I place my hand on the platform so that nothing will shift. And to remove the plates, I just grab the washi tape and lift them off. I did get a little bit of overfoiling, but that is easily removed with a sand eraser. The main sentiment has been foiled in black using one of the plates from Mini Everyday Sentiments. Although this is a small sentiment strip, it is going to stand out because I'm using a brand new set by Spellbinders called Sentiment Labels. It comes with 2 different sizes of labels and accompanying dies to cut the strips. I've already die cut my foiled sentiment, and my label has been die cut from both black cardstock and sheet foam and stacked. In the fastener holes, I'm going to finish them off with 2 little black brads. To make this birthday card lots of fun, I am using accessories from a really sweet die set called Shopping Carts Party On. Balloons have been die cut from primary colors blue, yellow, and red and are mounted on foam die cuts. The banner details were also cut from the same cardstock that was used to cut the balloons, and the colors were alternated. It was mounted on a foam die cut. The foiled panel was trimmed down to 5 by 3 3/4 inches and mounted on foam. It was then adhered to black cardstock measuring 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Initially, I had mounted the balloons on white foam, but it just didn't look consistent with the other elements, so I changed it out to black foam. I used black metallic thread to tie on to each of the balloons. I won't lie, this was super finicky. I found it best to first make a loop with the thread and then slip it over the bottom of the balloon and tighten it, and then do the second knot. Finding the process that works for you can make something like this a lot less frustrating. And thankfully, I only had 5 balloons to do. All of my elements are now ready to go on the card, so I'm going to go ahead first and attach my panel to an A2 size card base. Everything's laid out, and I'm going to begin by arranging the balloons and adhering them to the card. For this balloon that is sitting on top of another one, I'm just going to lift up the other balloon and slip the string underneath it. And then on goes the last balloon, and while the glue is setting up, I'm going to adhere the banner. All the strings have been gathered together, and I'm going to use just a little piece of Post-it note tape to hold those in place. On the back of the sentiment label, I'm splaying those brad ends. And I'll use my wire snippers just to cut off the one end that overhangs the label. A strip of Sukwang double-sided tape will hold those strings in place. Sukwang is a very strong adhesive, and it will ensure that those strings aren't ever going to move. They are trimmed off right below the line of the tape. The sentiment label is adhered over top of the double-sided tape. To dial up the celebratory fun, I add in lots of rainbow confetti. Nouveau Glitter Drops White Blizzard are applied to the flags on the banner. White Blizzard dries clear, leaving a pretty sparkly effect. The area is a little bit larger than what you would normally apply Nouveau Drops to, so periodically I'll hold it up at eye level and make sure that it has an even coating. Nouveau Crystal Glaze is a perfect product to apply to larger areas. The balloons will be very shiny and they'll pop off that card front. Oh yes, pop balloons. From a literal standpoint, wouldn't that be kind of fun for the right person? I'm afraid my video tutorials always conclude in the same way, with Crystal Nouveau Drops Morning Dew topping up all the confetti. Why? Because I love it. Wraps up this sweet and fun birthday card, focusing on using multiple foil plates to create backgrounds, featuring Spellbinders Sentiment Labels. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate your visit.